Welcome to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast, where we share tips, techniques, and true stories to support you in using the law of attraction and alchemy to create magic and live the life of your dreams. Here's your host, the founder of dailyalchemy.com, Michelle Martin Dobbins.
Hi there, it's Michelle Martin Dobbins with Daily Alchemy, and this is the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about your spiritual practice and if you are still seeking. A lot of people I've seen identify themselves as a spiritual seeker. And that's fine, and I don't have a problem with it, but remember, what you focus on, you get more of. And so do we want to keep seeking, or do we want to really just be a spiritual practitioner or an alchemist or whatever term feels good to you? And you don't have to put a label on what you do. But I have noticed that a lot of us in this who are focused on spiritual growth tend to keep reaching for that next thing, that new magic technique that is going to be the technique that does it. And we will keep reading book after book and class after class and, blog post after blog post. And I do write some of those blog posts in those classes, but I'm thinking that 99.5 or maybe even more, maybe a little bit less, but most of the people listening to this podcast, you already know enough. Yes, you do. You know enough to have a beautiful, magical, wonderful life. So if you don't have a beautiful, magical, wonderful life right now, it may be because you are not doing what you know, okay? I'm guilty too. Yes, indeed I am. And I've written before, and I haven't done a podcast, but I will, about having one spiritual core practice. I have one, and I'm pretty good about sticking with it. Every once in a while I do slide off, and then I'm like, my life falls apart. I'm like, what happened? Oh yeah, I stopped doing my core spiritual practice. My core spiritual practice takes me 5 to 10 minutes a day, but I do it every day. If you had one practice that you did every day, it would make more of a difference than going out and looking for the magic practice, because I'm here to tell you there is no magic practice, okay? It's all about alignment. It's all about vibration. And whatever practice and technique you use to get there is perfect. It's wonderful. It's you. Am I telling you not to read any more books, not to listen to any podcasts, not to read any blogs? No, I'm not. But I'm telling you to be judicious in the use of your time. First, do your practice. Whatever practice works for you, you find something and you do it every day. And if you don't have one that you're in love with, find one that you can try and do it every day for 30 months. 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, if it's not for you, try another. And if it was pretty good, then stick with it. Until, if it loses its juice, it's perfectly acceptable. I've changed my core practice a couple of times. And there have been times where I was just trying out different things. The thing is, I spent probably, because I started my spiritual practice when I was about 22. I'm 44 now. And probably that first 10 years, I took every class that came along. I was there. Every workshop at the Unity Church, every workshop at the that the yogi I followed taught, anything that I could get my hands on, I gobbled it all up. I was so starved for the knowledge, which was wonderful, and it worked really well. And I'm not telling you not to do that if you're new and you really want to kind of sink your teeth in and get a lot of knowledge. But then I got to a point where I was just like reading and soaking, and I was realizing I wasn't practicing. I was like looking for that magic pill. So I stopped. And it was funny because my bookshelves were lined. I had hundreds of nonfiction books, and I loaded them all up and sent them to the Goodwill. And most of the time I'm happy about that. But sometimes I'll look for a book to really mostly to give to somebody else or to share with somebody else. I'm like, I gave it away. But I just intend that the person who needed it got it. And yeah, it will all work out. But I stopped. I stopped reading spiritual books at all for probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. I dove back into fiction because I love me some fiction, but I had not read it because I was looking for the answers. And then when I realized, hey, I can do my practice, I can grow, I can really connect spiritually, and I don't have to read all of these books. It was kind of like I was like, I'm afraid. I had that mentality that I was going to miss the one book that was going to be important if I didn't read them all. And now I do a mix. I'm usually reading one nonfiction book, and not all spiritual, some spiritual, and one fiction book or more at a time. I love my books. What can I say? But anyway, my vibration around this has changed. I know that if there is something that I need to learn, I will learn it. It will come to me. The right book will find me. I have had times where a book fell off the shelf and hit me in the head. And one particular book did it 3 times. Like, okay, I get the message. I'm buying you. You'll know. Just intend that. If there is a teaching or a teacher that's for you, you'll know. And I would say, and it certainly doesn't have to be me. I'm definitely not the person for everyone. And there are a lot of really great teachers, and you don't have to stick with just one. But I would say pick a handful that you really want to connect with. For me, the thing that makes a big, big difference is to have some kind of accountability program. That's one thing that I will sign up for any day, and not a whole bunch of them because you can't keep up with a bunch of them. I've signed up for more groups sometimes than I can keep up with, but 1 or 2 groups that have the kind of people that you want to hang out with and interact with can definitely be a blessing for growing your spiritual practice and helping you manifest the things in your life that you want to manifest. But don't buy 30 books and sit and read them and read them and read them like, oh, the answer is in here. That one mantra, the one that is going to make the difference is right here. No, it's okay. Pick that one mantra that speaks to your heart. And a lot of times the one that you wrote yourself is the best one. You can create your own practice. I mean, you can definitely look at other people for inspiration, and you can even do exactly what they want. But make your own choice. Do what you know instead of looking for more things to do. And I'm going to call it a day with that. Hope yours is magical. Namaste.
Thanks for listening to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Connect with me on thedailyalchemy.com or Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle Dobbins, author. Join us next time for even more magical life tips.